darker theory. That pineapple is not a normal house. Some say it came from the human world, falling into Bikini Bottom after a mysterious ocean. And it gets even weirder. In several episodes, SpongeBob's house seems to live, react, even change, as if it's not just an object. Some fans believe the pineapple was contaminated by radiation, which could explain why SpongeBob is so different from other sea creatures. Always happy, even in the strangest situations. So here's the real question. Did SpongeBob choose that house, or did the house choose H-I-M? Squidward isn't unlucky. He's just too realistic. He feels like he's talented, but nobody cares. He wants a quiet life, but his neighbor is SpongeBob. Sometimes it's not your whole life that's the problem. The place where you are. Squidward suggests a house for SpongeBob. At first, it looks normal, typical of asterisk SpongeBob asterisk cartoon style. But as time goes on, it gets weirder. From a banana to a burger, and then a chili pepper. Is this a house or a food menu? They say this cake can determine your fate. At first, it looked promising. And strangely enough, it all started coming true. But not all of it was good. Sometimes what we consider good luck actually turns into a problem. Here are 3 strange things about SpongeBob you probably never realized. First, Squidward actually looks more like octopus. Yet his name is Squidward. Second, SpongeBob is a kitten sponge, but he can eat, drink, sleep, and even work just like a human. And the next part, Bikini Bottom is fire, smoke, and even clouds, even though it's still underwater. It turns out SpongeBob makes absolutely no sense. We've always thought Patrick was stupid. It turns out that's not necessarily the case. Sure, he often fails to grasp simple things, and sometimes his answers leave even SpongeBob confused. But strangely enough, in certain situations, Patrick pulls off those unexpected moves. So the problem probably isn't that Patrick lacks brain, he just doesn't use it all the time. Patrick actually has the capacity to think. It's just that his brain seems to have a battery saving mode. That's why, if Patrick suddenly acts smart, that's actually when he should be suspicious. This might be the weirdest character to ever appear in asterisk SpongeBob asterisk. You know the one. Right? SpongeBob has a friend who is actually just a bubble. His name is Bubble Buddy. SpongeBob even treats him like a real friend. The string is, everyone in Bikini Bottom knows he's just a bubble, and SpongeBob still thinks of him as a regular person. The problem is, Bubble Buddy starts annoying the residents, to the point where they demand SpongeBob get rid of him. But it turns out, Bubble Buddy is just an ordinary bubble. And when it's all over, we realize that this seemingly bizarre character actually played a crucial role in the story. Squidward might just be the unluckiest character in SpongeBob. He just wants a quiet life. The house is right next to Sponge Patrick's. Trying to sleep. Disturbed? Want to play the clarinet? Disturbed? Want to be happy? He just runs into trouble instead. Poor guy. Squidward just picked the wrong neighbors. Who do you think is an even unluckier character than Squidward? The weirdest and most unique characters in SpongeBob. Number 7. Flats. A fish who looks ordinary but has a strange habit. He's obsessed with kicking Sponge. Number R. Bubbly. Created by Sponge, but when it can walk, has a personality, even annoys Squidward. Number E. Man Ray. Birdman's nemesis. Looks like a manta ray. He often behaves in absurd ways. Who do you think is the weirdest character in SpongeBob? 3 of the weirdest SpongeBob characters. Knows from the vampire who appears out of nowhere and has a super creepy face. Number 2. Patchy. The pirate. A huge who claims to be SpongeBob's number fan to the point where his whole revolves around SpongeBob. Number 3. Doodle Bob. Then becomes an enemy of SpongeBob. If you could pick one, which character is the weirdest? Plankton to do absolutely anything just for the Krabby Patty recipe. It turns out the answer isn't just envy. Plankton believes that if you add and make the bucket the number 1 restaurant in Bikini Bottom, but the problem is, every time he tries to steal the recipe, his plans fail miserably. So, does Plankton risk? Does he actually just defeat Mr. Krabs? What do you think? This is proof that rules sometimes fall, not bothering anyone. But he ended up getting taken. Sometimes life is like that. You haven't done anything wrong, but you still run into trouble. This proves that life suddenly falls apart in 5 seconds. Everything just one problem into this isn't a cartoon. This is our everyday life. This proves that it can suddenly fall apart. This proves that life can fall apart in seconds. It started with just a small thing. our everyday life. Ever wondered why SpongeBob lives in a pineapple? Most people think it, but there's a darker theory. That apple is not a normal house. Some say it came from the human world, falling into the bottom after a mysterious ocean. It gets even weirder. In several episodes, SpongeBob's house seems to live, react, change, as if it's just an object. Some believe the pineapple is contaminated by radiation, explaining why SpongeBob is so different from other sea creatures. Always happy, even in the strangest situations. So here's the real question. Did SpongeBob choose that house, or did that choose H-I-M? Squidward is unlucky. He's just realistic. He's like he's talented, but nobody cares. He wants a quiet life, but his neighbor is Trump. Sometimes it's not your problem, but you are. I suggest a house for SpongeBob. At first, the asterisk SpongeBob cartoon style, but as time goes on, it gets weirder. From a banana to a burger, and then a chili pepper. This cake can determine your fate. First, it looked promising. All starting true, but not all of it was good. Sometimes what we consider good luck actually turns into a problem. Strange things about SpongeBob US. His name is Squidward. Bob is a kitchen sponge, but he can eat, drink, and even work just like a human. And the stranger bikini bottom has fire, smoke, makes absolutely sense. Always thought Patrick was stupid. Turns out it's not necessarily even SpongeBob used, but strangely enough, in some situations, Patrick pulls unexpected moves all the time. Patrick actually has the capacity to just brain seems to have a battery saving mode. That's why if Patrick suddenly acts smart, actually then we should be suspicious. You know the one, right? SpongeBob has a friend who is actually just a bubble. His name is Bubble Buddy. SpongeBob, he treats him like everyone in Bikini Bottom is just a bubble. Still thinks him a regular person. The problem is, Bubble Buddy starts to know the residents, to the point that SpongeBob get rid of him. Turns out, Buddy isn't just an ordinary bubble. And we all know that this Caesar character actually played a crucial role in the story. Squidward might just be the rights to Sponge and Patrick's trying to sleep, disturb, want to be happy, runs into trouble instead, die. Squidward just picked the wrong neighbors. Who didn't your character the Squidward? But has a strange habit. He's asking SpongeBob number R. Busability, and even annoys Squidward number Manry. It's like a man. It ought to be absurd ways. Who thinks the weirdest kiss? Three of the weirdest Spider-Man knows brought to a mysterious vampire who appears out of nowhere and has a super creepy face. Number two, one fan, or his whole life revolves around SpongeBob. Number E, Doodle Bob. Just a simple doodle. Becomes still speaks gibberish and even becomes an edge stop. Which character weirdest? Why is Plankton willing to do absolutely any other recipe? It isn't just envy. Plankton will admit to get his hands on Krabby recipe. He can defeat the crabs, make some bucket, number one restaurant in Bikini Bottom. The problem every time he tries to steal his plan miserably. So Plankton want the recipe, or does he actually just want to defeat Mr. Krabs? What do you think? Just being a casual soul, not bothering anyone. But suddenly, he did. Sometimes you haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, it's just a small thing. So, everything just probably turned into that. This is a cartoon. This is our everyday life. This proof can solve fall apart in 5 minutes. This proves that life fall apart in seconds. It started with just somehow everything just turned into 10. This isn't a cartoon. This is our everyday life. Ever wonder why SpongeBob lives in a pineapple? Most people think it's random, but there's a dark theory. Pineapple is not a normal house. Some say it came from the human world, falling into the cube after a mysterious ocean, and it gets even weirder. In several episodes, SpongeBob's house seems to act, even change, as if it's not just an object. Some fans believe that contaminated radiation, which could explain why SpongeBob is so different from other sea creatures, always happy, even in the strangest. So here's the real question: did SpongeBob choose the house, or did the house choose H-I-M? So he's unlucky. He's just too realistic. He feels like he's talented, but nobody cares. He wants a quiet life. SpongeBob. Sometimes it's not your whole life that's the problem, but the place where you are. Squidward suggests a house for SpongeBob. At first, it looks normal, typical of the asterisk SpongeBob asterisk cartoon style. As time goes on, it gets weirder. From a banana to a burger and then a chili pepper. Is this the house or a food menu? They say this cake to determine your fate. At first, it looked promising. Strangely enough, it all started coming true, but not all of it was good. Sometimes what we consider good luck actually turns into a problem. Here are 3 strange things about SpongeBob you probably realized. First, Squidward actually looks more like an octopus, yet his name's Squidward. Second, SpongeBob is a kitchen sponge, but he can eat, drink, sleep, and work just like human. The strange part, Bikini Bottom has fire, and even clouds, even though it's all underwater. It turns out SpongeBob makes absolutely no sense. We've always thought Patrick was stupid, but it turns out that's not necessarily the case. She wants to grasp simple things, and sometimes and leave even SpongeBob confused. But strangely enough, in certain situations, Patrick pulls off the most unexpected moves. So the problem probably isn't that Patrick lacks a brain. He just doesn't use it all the time. Patrick actually has the capacity to think. It's just that his brain seems to have battery-saving mode. That's why, if Patrick suddenly acts smart, that's actually when we should be suspicious. This might be the weirdest character to ever appear in Asterisk SpongeBob Asterisk. You know the one, right? SpongeBob has a friend who is actually just a bubble. His name is Bubblebee. SpongeBob even treats him like a real friend. The strange thing is, everyone in Bikini Bottom knows he's just a bubble. Yet SpongeBob still thinks of him as a regular person. The problem is, Bubblebee starts annoying the residents, to the point where they demand SpongeBob get rid of him. But it turns out, Bubble Buddy isn't just an ordinary bubble. And when it's all over, we realize that this seemingly bizarre character actually played a crucial role in the story. Squidward might just be the unluckiest character in SpongeBob. He just wants a quiet life, but his house is right next to SpongeBob and Patrick's. Trying to sleep? Disturbed? Want to play the clarinet? Disturbed. Want to be happy?